Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. I am Mr. Vosley, joined by the Bad Barracuda, Tin Man.
Bad Barracuda.
And the steel-handed Stingray, K-Max.
Steel-handed. Like it.
Did you guys catch how much alliteration was in this movie?
I really didn't. Honest to goodness.
Oh, I got a list. Well, I got a small list for you. This was in the maybe a span of an hour of the movie that I caught.
Okay.
Here, I'll run through some examples here. Lance Lawson, Shot Sheriff, Red Rock, Major Marquez, Daisy Domergue, Lincoln Letter, Pen Pals, President, Sanford Smithers, Mannix Marauders, Blue Bellies, Chester Charles, knows he's a N-word. That's all I need to know. Battle of Baton Rouge, heard him hillbilly, captured whole colored command. Anyways, that just sounded like I was telling a terrible story.
And not one lily livered. It's interesting.
I thought it was pretty funny.
I did.
Huh.
Anyways.
I mean, those have to be intentional. But
of
that's
course.
a lot.
It got pretty comical at times. I was like writing them down. I had to like pause it because there's so many of them at one point. But today's episode brought to you by Quentin Tarantino's 8th film, The Hateful Eight, from 2015, starring Kurt Russell, Sam Jackson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Walton Goggins. So, when did you guys first see this? What was your initial reaction? And did it change this time through?
My first... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
My first time seeing it was probably right around 2020. I waited a little bit, couple years. I wanted to see it right away. It looked captivating. It looked interesting. It looked very... it was very Tarantino, and I liked that. And I was looking forward to seeing it, and life just happened, I guess. And I didn't see it until, I think, 2020, and I didn't see it in the theaters, obviously, which I think I would like to have seen it in theaters. It was just visually striking stuff. Watched it again, what is it, Friday, Memorial Day, Tuesday. Watched it again Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And then watched about half of it again today. And was kind of looking for some camera angle, color usage, and stuff like that today. Mm-hmm. And then, as 53-year-olds will do, I dozed off until just now. Yeah, that's my experience with it.
So I'm going to go before Tin Man, because Tin Man's got a little secret.
Tin Man's secret.
So I did see this one in theaters, and I loved it.
Nice.
And I'll go through it a little bit and, deeper into this episode, but it didn't feel like a typical... I know you said it felt very Tarantino, but to me it was... a lot of his movies had a lot of flash, but maybe not so much that you could really digest, I guess. So I'm thinking the Kill Bills, where there's a lot of references to film styles and homage to this, and this character is actually referencing this here, and the name of this brand is because of this, and so I was looking for more oomph from characters and themes and stuff, and this one I feel like delivered for me. So this is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
Cool.
Yeah. So I remember seeing it in theaters. I think I was with The Boat. Shout out to The Boat. I don't know if he ever will get to listen to this, but at least I think it was The Boat. Maybe a shout out to The Boat.
It's been docked for a while. Man, in a minute.
I miss The Boat.
And so watching it this time through, I made sure I was looking for things to grasp onto, symbolism, how Tarantino was telling the story. And like you said, color. I made sure that there's a couple things I wanted you guys to look out for, because I'm gonna use it when I talk about like my theme and stuff. All right, Tin Man, what's your little secret?
All right, so I did see this movie in theaters. I've seen it once more, maybe 5 years ago, and then I asked Corey for the assignment because I forgot what movie we were supposed to review, so I haven't seen it in the last 5 years.
So the movie, and we've talked about him throughout the episode, but Tarantino is going to be the Hateful Eight.
Ooh.
Hateful Eight, next on the list. Netflix?
So, oh, you know what? I believe Netflix also has an extended cut of the movie, and it's listed more of a mini series than it is a movie, I believe.
Okay, yeah, they have both. They have the regular one and the extended version.
There's physical evidence, digital and physical
And
evidence.
I was like, wait a minute, what's the assignment again? And they gave me the
You didn't scroll up far enough.
breakdowns of what I was supposed to analyze, and then but didn't realize it was attached to the movie. So I'm very busy at work. I'm very busy at work.
You're busy at work.
5 children. They're getting in trouble.
Only 5?
Only five.
I had 7 just the other day. But it'll be a interesting dynamic then.
So now I'm coming in
cold.
Coming in cold. I'm trying to get see if they can reignite some old memories, and I can piece some of this stuff together from the back of my brain instead of the front. So we'll see how this goes.
All right.
Apologize to the audience for my
lack
of.
It'll be an interesting point of view then, because I feel like we'll bring up some stuff, and then you can see it through that lens.
Then I can argue, you guys, and then get called out because I didn't see that part. Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Don't worry, the audience will do that. Well, okay, so I'll put you on the spot here.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite scene that you can remember though?
Hateful Eight. I like when they shoot Jody. So that's gonna be that was kind of wild. It was like, oh man, they really did that. That's Channing Tatum's character. That was, I don't know, spoiling out there. People who spoilers. So he's hiding underneath the floorboards, and that's Domergue's like kind of hidden piece. She's got something up her sleeve, and he's kind of being held at gunpoint. They're trying to make a deal, and I forgot which one it was who shoots him, but it boom and just sprays her face with blood. She's like, ah! But I was like, oh man, they really did that. I remember thinking that was kind of crazy. Like, oh, how's this gonna go? Where's this gonna go? I love the dialogue, of course. Quentin Tarantino movies, man. The dialogue is catchy, snappy. It's filled with tension. I did remember hearing that a lot of inspiration came from like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, where you're like not sure who to trust, who's on my side, who's going to kill me as soon as I turn around.
You mean a bunch of guys trapped in a building in the snow with people with secrets, secret identities,
so they can't tell who's on whose side, who's the. Yep.
Oh, geez, sounds familiar.
So it was a fun tension building, like ooh, what like. So it was a neat movie. I remember because I did watch it in theaters, and I did enjoy it then. The setup for it I thought was really cool. It's different because your Tarantino movies are a little more broad, several locations and different setups for backgrounds. Even you're going to a background, it's a completely different area. They do it a little bit, but it's pretty much it's happening here.
It's
happening at the haberdashery or whatever.
It's not all linear because you have when Channing Tatum comes in.
Yep.
But other than that, it's just here's a section of time right here, and I'm just going to tell this little isolated portion. And
I think it goes back a little bit when Samuel L. Jackson's kind of like saying the story about the guy's son. So it's that, but it's in real time. It's just showing
Right.
little video.
It's not-
It's just showing the picture of the story as he's telling it.
It's
Goes,
the
"Ah,
depiction.
I never knew where that like meme came from. I could never place it where he says, "You're starting to see pictures now, aren't you?"
Yeah.
Now I get it like so vividly, and I'll never forget
I
it
bet you do.
because I am seeing pictures right now.
He knows from experience.
Warm is warm. Cold man needs warmth sometimes.
K-Max. Favorite scene?
Okay, my favorite scene is
just told you.
has the quote. Yeah, there it is. Has a quote from Mowbray about justice.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite scene, and I'm going to read it because I want to get it right. And there's time because I think it goes back. It's a nice little callback to and I know Vaz does these things on purpose. It's a nice callback to a couple episodes ago, the whole series of like justice in films. Like what does how did you put it? What are those episodes called?
Like different chapter episodes.
Yeah, the chapter episodes. Like it was like not justice. What was it called? Moral questions.
Yeah.
Moral questions in film. This one is like almost talks about it perfectly. Like when we did M, that episode.
Yeah.
It talks about like frontier justice,
Ethical questions.
questions. That's it. There it is.
Yeah.
Ethical questions in movies. This is a perfect quote for it. Mowbray says, "The man who pulls the lever that breaks your neck will be a dispassionate man, and that dispassion is the very essence of justice. For justice delivered without dispassion is always in danger of not being justice." I think that quote was brilliant.
Huh.
And I think like someone like, I always credit the character. I always credit the character instead of the writer who wrote that genius line. So then when you look up a quote online, it quotes the author, the person who wrote it. And I'm like, no, that was Doc Holliday that said that. Or no, that was Mowbray that said that. I'm like, no, it was Tarantino who wrote that. Or it was, there's quotes that I use from a lot of John Green books, and it's his characters that say them. When I'm teaching, sophomore English. Mm-hmm. So I use those quotes a lot. And I'm like, no, it was this character. I'm like, no, it was the author who wrote that. So I got to go back to Tarantino and say, he's a crazy person. But man, he's pretty brilliant in some of the things that he writes.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty strict about his writing too. Like, don't ad lib and go off the cuff.
Is he really? Okay.
Yes, he's like, I pay. We're getting paid, so you read what I wrote.
Because he seems like he'd be different than that.
I think he allows. I think he allows for. I've heard him say it on a couple different interviews where he's like, no. I wrote these intentionally for them to say it. If they go off and it's better than what I wrote, it's rare it's going to happen. Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
But what I wrote is intentional.
Well, I love that he has a vision for how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
This is how it's supposed to be. Because it comes out passionately for us.
Yeah. Well, that's for me. This is like his most passionate film. It felt like anyway, because there's a lot of things, a lot of themes and everything. But there's something else I was going to say. Something.
I was just talking
writing.
about justice, and we were talking about.
Because his writing, this movie, you're not relying on different settings and sets and
flashy action sequences or anything
right.
like that.
You're not relying on any of that to help tell your story. It's all his writing and all the dialogue and all the shot setups that are doing the storytelling. Mm-hmm. So this is all him presenting the story to you.
And even like that's excellent, because even the use of repetition, like when you're reading a good book or a short story, they use repetition and callback and foreshadowing and flashback. He does that masterfully in this. Mm-hmm. And you can see it like you're reading a book, like the reoccurring repetition of, you got to nail the door, and they're all hollering, and she even hollers, nail the door, 2 boards, you need 2 boards.
You can't just use one.
Yeah. And they're the whole group just chiming in, and you can relate to that in a lot of ways. Like, okay, the peanut gallery, here they come. Everybody's, yeah, I know. Well, all I needed was one person to tell me that.
Also, Tin Man, how many Labatt's do you have over
Labatt's.
At least they're Labatt Blue Light.
Lights.
This is a sugar-free
Labatt's. I got news for you, Tin Man.
How many Colt 45s are you going to drink?
I wish I had more cans just to keep opening them. Isn't
that true?
You know, you guys are all.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
So I think my favorite scene, it was tough to pick one for me, actually. But I think I went with the one that made me feel the most. And it wasn't like good feeling, though. because, all these characters are tough to get behind.
Yeah.
And, you got Sam Jackson's character who starts to move gently to General Smithers. And, it looks like, they're actually going to play nice together here. And then he starts rolling in the story about how he knows his son and, he knows what happens. And he tells the story of it. And it was kind of at a time when you didn't think you could like any of these characters less. That story happens. You're just like, wow, that is rough. Like, both of these characters act out of hatred. And so all you hear about is once they're in the haberdashery, you hear about Smithers, how he mistreated, the African-American soldiers during the Civil War and, the war crimes that he did. But then to hear Sam Jackson's, Marquez, that's how he pronounces it.
That's how it's spelled. Marquez.
But how hateful and spiteful his reaction, his actions were to spite just this one guy, and you couple that with what was said in the carriage, and you're just kind of like, wow, I don't know if this guy is my protagonist anymore. And you start to look at Walton Goggins' character a little bit in a different light, like, well, he's at least. I don't know if he's done as much as Major Warren here.
It almost felt like righteous indignation though with Marcus's character. It's funny he said it almost like Marcus, like even less than Marquise, or it was just Marcus. Yeah. It sounded like he was just saying Marcus, almost like dumbing down the fancy French version. And it was almost like to me it felt like almost like a commentary of, this is the name that I was given, that my people were given, And it felt very righteous indignation of him to be telling this story, saying, "Yeah, you gave us these uniforms, And he pretty much almost like a black versus white type thing about not north south, just saying, no, this is what I'm in it for. Goggins' character really had it right, saying you just got in for any excuse to kill white people, and he kind of joked about it a little bit. Saying that he did, but it's almost like he's tipping his hand. It's almost tipping his hand, saying. But then he also in that story gives it because he's like, you guys were blatant. You guys at least were blatantly against us, trying to keep us oppressed and slaves, and killing an entire regiment of blacks instead of poor. Whereas you you gave us blue uniforms instead of we were equal. Instead of equal, you never treated us like that. That little line there was almost like his little soliloquy saying, "Yep, this is the hate. This is the rage and hate I have." And here's why, So it almost felt not justified, but justified. Like I'm getting it back. Inglourious Bastards type, get it back for the Jews.
Yeah,
like just in Tarantino style that he gets away with it somehow because he's a crazy person. He can make these statements that many filmmakers can't make because people just expect it and say, "Oh, that's just him. That's his style."
Yeah.
So the actual agenda for today, we're going to go with premise versus storytelling. And this is how one of these is more Western and one of these is less so. And we go into lack of Western tropes. And we go into what were the most important tropes to keep this movie a Western. And lastly, our theme and why. So the premise, I'm going to take this straight from IMDb. In the dead of a Wyoming winter, a bounty hunter and his prisoner find shelter in a cabin currently inhabited by a collection of nefarious characters. So, sounds Western enough, right?
Sure does.
Do you guys have any other descriptions of the movie?
Well, I think it has to be mentioned the coming across seeming strangers. At first coming across a couple of strangers, who are in danger of death from the blizzard, picking up a couple strangers, and then like the story starts to unfold in the stagecoach a little bit. They get to know each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that felt very Western to me. That felt like, let me see that face.
Yeah.
You know, why aren't you so and so, so and so?
Yeah.
And that was feeling very Western to me.
Yeah. Like
Did it say the time period?
right after the Civil War?
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, the time period is very that's very Western.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Late 18, early 1900s.
But what's cool to me though is the deeper you go with the storytelling, the less Western it seems. So you add things like the murder mystery aspect of it.
Oh,
Killing off the man of principle, like in a lot of westerns, that's that man of principle that you want to get behind, and in this one,
Who is it that dies?
is it
Kurt Russell's character.
Hateful Eight.
John.
Oh, he's poisoned or something, right?
all right,
Yeah.
Tin Man, you may go.
Hey, I only have little pictures of memory of what happened in the story.
And then you have this like the stage play style of presentation.
Yeah.
With this thing. A dash of gore, like more gore than.
So I don't want
a
to say
typical
that
Western.
the killing of what's his name was my favorite scene. It's the one that sticks out the most.
No, you can't take it.
No,
back.
no, no. You just want to see Channing Tatum get shot in the head. That's it. Nothing against Channing Tatum.
Handsome son of a gun.
Yeah.
Magic that. I don't know. I'm
Dance
just
your
bitter.
way out of this one.
I'm just a bit dance your way out of this one. Abs.
So I felt like before you knew it, you weren't even really able to describe a Western anymore, though, because there was so many tropes were missing. We'll get into that next, but so many tropes were missing. You had just the way the story was unfolding became more, like I said, murder mystery and whose side is who on. Like it was like Clue at the end.
Yeah.
And then kind of like The Thing also, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
where you're just trying to figure out who's on whose side here and who's the good guy now. Like literally, I can't tell who I'm supposed to be rooting for in this for the rest of the movie after John Ruth dies. So did you guys see it as a Western as it got towards the end, or did it feel like something else to you?
You nailed exactly the film that I was thrown to the last two times that I watched it this week. Clue. It felt more like Clue, and I love Clue. That's one of my favorite movies. I just love it, and it felt like that, especially as Hangman is collecting the weapons as he's going to each one, and he's saying almost like very politely, like, "Sorry, you know why I have to do this," you know.
Nothing personal.
Yeah, nothing personal. And then he goes and he's like, "Why are you taking these?" He goes, "Oh, I'll deal with him just next. Right now, I'm dealing with yours." And I just felt very much like, I don't know what Clue is, like a whodunit, like almost like a dinner murder mystery. Like you get on a. That's what it felt like to me, more and more. And I wasn't mad that it was feeling that way. Like, yeah, you guys have cowboy hats on, and you have nice revolvers. And there's a few cowboy tropes. Other than that, this is Clue, and I'm loving it. A little bit more edgy. A lot more edgy.
Or N-words than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a Western based on its setting and its dress.
Did you
Murder
feel
mystery?
like that all the way through? Like, or like, were you still aware, like, okay, I'm in a Western and now this is happening?
I don't know,
Or
because
was
I
it
feel
kinda
like I've watched more Westerns in the last year than I did my entire life. Like, the Westerns that I watched were not, Fistful of Dollars, Outlaw Josie. It wasn't these movies. It wasn't your classic Westerns.
You started off with neo-Westerns.
I started off with
Yeah.
neo-Western.
Yeah.
It was or comedies. It was like Maverick and Lightning Jack, or I don't know, what's a Desperado or something like that. So it felt Western enough to me. I didn't think it. It definitely had a murder mystery vibe though, and it has a Tarantino feel. And it's like, oh, it's got all of his characters, and Kurt Russell's back from The Thing. Oh, he's also here.
Yeah.
He plays himself so well in movies. He doesn't play many different things.
Right.
He plays a version of him very well. Like believably, comfortably well.
Yep. It's a Kurt Russell type character, and be like, yeah, he can do it. Absolutely, yeah.
Even what's his name in Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Because he was the
Ego.
Yeah. He was the same thing.
It was
in
pretty
Ego,
much
too.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
I think he only seems not Kurt Russell in Soldier. That's one I can think of right off the bat. Where he's like a robot.
Yeah.
Like a bread soldier or whatever. But that's probably it. Odd little trail we went on there.
No,
but
I like
anyway,
it, though.
but yeah, no, it definitely felt
And
like
he's
a
been
Tarantino.
good a long time.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt Western just based on dress, I feel like. Like if I saw more Westerns, it was like, no, I'm expecting a saloon, a shootout, an outlaw, a lawman, this and that. And it wasn't really there. That was very much like all the villains are here. all the dirtbags all showed up to one place. And then now it's like, and it's going to dissolve into everybody dying probably. Like, it's about right. Who's telling the truth? Oh, that's a little bit of a truth. Oh, that's none of the truth, And you're like, ooh, who's... And you're still kind of stuck. You're like, who are we backing in this story? Or they're all awful people. Maybe they all deserve to die, But
I feel like filmmakers do more and more of that. Or I'm just now awake to filmmakers doing more and more of that, of making you have to dance in the grays rather than the absolutes.
Yeah.
And I think if you listen to season 1, episode 1, 2, and 3, you'll see me tipping my hand about the surface level, my enjoyment of movies. And now, darn you, Vaz and Tin Man, now I dig in a little bit more and I see the grays a lot more. I'm like, well, this is vigilante justice, but look at how wrong this is compared to the blatant bad guy.
Right.
Who just has a very, maybe the most egregious bad. This guy's got a lifetime full of bad, and he's leading his family down the bad and all this. Which one's more bad? And I'm like, I used to not care. He's just a bad guy. And he's the good guy. Leave him alone.
It used to be almost easier to watch a movie when you go, that's good guy, that's bad guy.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, now it feels like it was harder to back or harder to get comfortable.
That
It
100%.
felt harder to get comfortable seeing the...
In this one, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
If
thinking
I'm
that
remembering it
I
correctly.
feel like we're marionettes in his crazy game here.
Yeah.
And we're being shaped to a spot, but I'm like, I like where we're being shaped because I'm enjoying movies more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Commercial. You too can enjoy movies more. Follow Depth Perception Movie Podcast
For
on
3
Instagram.
easy payments of $999.
And 99 cents.
This podcast has been brought to you by...
Labatt's. So, for me, it felt kind of like a there it is. That just paid for this episode. So this was kind of a flip of what we were talking about in neo-westerns. So neo-westerns can take like Western tropes and themes and place them into contemporary or imaginative settings. With the Hateful Eight, I felt that even though it was in 2015, it dealt with very contemporary subject matter, even to today, with race and politics. So this one, though, it placed the modern issues under the Western setting. So it's kind of the opposite of the neo-Western. It took a modern themes and conflicts and put them back then.
That's interesting.
So I kind of mentioned it before, though. It felt to me Tarantino's fullest movie. So themes, characters, subject matter, setting, style, language, acting, they're all very precise, very deliberate, and able to be explored. Much of Tarantino's work, like I said, it tends to pay homage to existing film styles and reference a huge range of cinema history. And though this movie has that, it also felt very thought out, personal, and uniquely American. I feel like Tarantino has a way of bending a genre to his will because he is a cinematic mastermind. And I love how he was able to transform the traditional Western into what we see here. So I don't even know if there's a name for that.
Yeah.
Yes, Tin Man?
Yeah, I was just thinking, what would you call an anti... A post-neo,
Post-
post
Like a
neo
retro neo,
anti-western,
Yeah,
retro,
like a retro
post.
neo western.
I know I'm just making dumb, thoughtful face over here.
That's my resting face.
That's my sleeping face. So let's move into lack of Western tropes. So I think it'd be pretty neat to go through like the tropes that we listed last episode and see how we were able to digest a Western movie that defied so many of them. So maybe go and, you know, how last time we went around and listed off like tropes. Mm-hmm. See if we could do that again, but with tropes that were
That didn't show up?
That were the opposite. Yeah.
Well, I just had it somewhere. Damsels in distress. Your damsel is
Yeah.
is deserving
She's
of
actually in
death.
Yeah.
He's like, we got to come up with some codes.
Deservedly in distress.
Yeah.
Right?
So when I elbow you in the face, that means to shut the blank up. Oh my goodness. What?
Like Tarantino wrote that line.
Yeah. That was not improvised.
I put lack of open frontier.
Oh, you're right. That's very
Like the only time was the opening scene with the Christ thing in the foreground and then the wide, almost like tundra, from the mountainside, you know. But then that goes away in a hurry.
Yeah, like the haunting mountains.
Yeah, it's almost like to throw you off, though. Tarantino almost does it to throw you off, saying, "Here's your Western. See a stagecoach coming across the plain, and then
into a
no more."
What's claustrophobic, isolated. Well, you can't leave because you'll die. If you stay, you very well may die as well.
So like lack of expedition.
Lack of freedom, lack of openness.
Open adventure, like wide open
spaces. Yep.
No sun.
Oh
None.
gosh, yeah.
No sun, no high noon. Nothing happened at high noon here.
No tumbleweed.
No tumbleweed, no saloons. Hey, what'd
No
you call it?
saloons.
What was
No,
it?
it was very
Right?
yeah. It was
What
very
is a
deliberate.
haberdashery?
Very deliberate. A hat. It was a hat maker, right? Is that what it was?
I thought it was more like a general store.
Is that what it is?
I think.
It was. What was it called?
Lieutenant Google.
Lieutenant Google.
It starts with an M, doesn't it?
I thought you were gonna sing. Was that "Bird is the Word"?
This feels like Family Guy whenever I hear that.
Yeah. Well,
come on.
while Tin Man's looking up
I'm googling.
haberdashery.
Minnie's haberdashery. I knew it would start with an M.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Well, what is a haberdashery, though?
I thought it
What's
was
the definition of it?
Oh, okay, there we go.
While he's doing that, I put discouragement of gun use. So, like, there's scenes where they're taking guns away.
Yeah.
You know, like, put your guns over on that stone there and give me your guns and put them in the toilet or put them in
throw them down the.
Yeah.
Oh, men's clothing and accessories. Small items used in sewing, such as buttons, zippers, threads. Goods.
Certainly sounds
such
like
as
a
men's
general
clothing.
store.
So yeah. I mean hats as well, but I don't know why I thought hats solely. But yeah.
Western Hobby Lobby.
Hats are
Yeah.
dashery.
Closed on Sundays.
Closed on Sundays.
No post on Sundays. How about this one? No horseback riding.
Interesting.
They didn't, did they? They used the horses to pull the carriage, but nobody was on the horse.
The only striking scene I seen with them was when they're pulling them into the barn out of the snow, out of the blizzard.
And they're walking them.
Yeah.
Yep. I put, minimal setting. So there, I mean, it's basically two settings, I'd say, in the snow and then in the haberdashery.
Is it ever a stage play? It feels like a stage play.
Yeah, I would say that's, I wouldn't say lack of trope. I would say a trope that's not a Western, though. Mm-hmm. I had, because last episode we talked about action over dialogue. There's a lot of, long shots, and wind, and, and zooming in on the guy's eyes and everything.
Yep, that's right. The sweat, the clock clicking.
Yeah. But in this one, it's very much so dialogue over action.
That's right.
The man of principle, being killed off almost first, right? Almost.
Almost.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had lack of alcohol.
Yeah,
They had some drinks.
Well, he
Domergue.
Yeah, he talked about, Hangman talked about, as long as the bar is part of the North, then that's fine with me, or something like that.
Yeah. As long as, was it, the bar is Philadelphia?
Philadelphia, that's right.
But it was all about coffee other than that.
Oh yeah. Man, you gotta have to keep your wits about you if you can't trust anybody in the room.
That's it. Well, in my head, I thought to myself, what a great episode for Vaz to put like X-Lax in the coffee tonight or something like that.
It's in one of these cups.
Yeah.
Not sure who put it in one of these cups.
I need it. I drink it knowing. Still drink it.
Just take your mic with you.
That's it. That's right.
Get the reverberation. And
Yeah. Why is he muted again? Oh, he's back. He's muted again. He's back.
No robbery.
No robbery, no stage coach heist, no train.
No train robbery.
No train.
I don't remember any native.
Strong arm robbery.
The stoic native, the partner,
Right.
or the savage native. You know what I mean? We talked about it as a trope.
No
like
native raids, no
Yeah.
hunting parties, no.
They do reference it very briefly, and they comment how Major Warren was pretty skilled at killing quote,
that's right.
Redskins.
That's right. Yep. That's right.
No prostitutes.
Yeah.
Right. No prostitutes with a heart of gold.
That's right.
Apparently that's
Yep.
in here. I'm reading 100 common Western tropes.
That's awesome.
Read it. Frontier
Written
mining
by
camp.
Tin Man.
No card games. Was there card games?
No, or bar.
No,
there was no
there's
bar
chess games.
Chess. Okay.
No duel.
No duel. No gunslinging duel.
I think
standoff.
How's this one? I think we can count how many bullets are fired here.
Really?
Yeah, let's go through it.
Okay. I remember Hateful 8, 2.
So we'll go in chronological order then. So when the gang gets to the haberdashery, they shoot Minnie. That's one. They shoot the girl that was on the stagecoach, right? It's 2. I think they stab Sweet Dave. So maybe it was only 2 shots there. And then once they're in the haberdashery, Warren coaxes Smithers into drawing his pistol and he shoots him. So that's 3. And then the coffee is poisoned. So John Ruth gets shot by Domergue. That's 4. Marquez shoots Bob with his left and right pistol, and then shoots him in the head with both pistols. We're up to 8. What's Walton Goggins' character's name again?
Mannix.
Mannix. Mm-hmm. Mannix shoots the Oswaldo. 9. Oswaldo shoots back at him. That's 10. And he shoots him again later. That might have been Sam Jackson that shoots him. So that's 11. They shoot Domergue's foot. That's 12. He shoots Channing Tatum in the head. That's 13. And then Joe Gage.
Michael Madsen.
14. So there you go. I'm pretty sure that's it. So under 15 total shots of gunfire for the whole movie.
That's not a...
Yeah.
That's not a lot. That's not a lot.
I think Tombstone had that in the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, right.
So what tropes do we think were important enough to keep this movie classified as a Western?
Well, he still had the bounty hunters. That's a big one. The sheriff, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The sense of talk of justice.
Yep.
You know, a frontier town. They're going to like a frontier town. Red Rock.
Yep, where you're at.
They're all on their way to a frontier town. The stagecoach itself is
the hangman.
Yep.
And being that being a form of justice for someone we're taking her.
Mm-hmm. Like the
just the outlaws, just them being being the gang and outlaw lifestyle.
I thought also that like the familiarity of service providers. This is going to sound stupid. I don't know how to say it better, but like the familiarity, like the people that stopped there knew the owners and knew what the rules were of the game, and so that's to me, it's a very Western thing. Like, you know, Charlton Heston and Unforgiven. You know, we're gonna have to hold up here. So, you know, so and so's here. All right, well, we can hold. That's not Unforgiven. That's Tombstone. Right? Is that where Charlton Heston's the ranch owner outside of town? Yeah. And he's like, he can stay here a night or two beyond that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like the familiarity there is almost
you can have this much food, this much water. You can water your horses, but you got to be gone by this.
And like them knowing that familiarity, knowing we go here, we get there.
Yep. You pay like there's like oh hey, we're here. You got to identify yourself, pay your respects, thank him for his service, and you know. There's
and I had that feeling about like the bar owners, like when Sam Jack was kind of putting together that something's not right here. You know, I think that comes in a lot of Westerns. Like, I know these people. They're good, God-fearing people. They wouldn't have done that type of thing.
Yep.
I don't know if that's unique to Westerns, but I get that vibe in Westerns a lot.
I kind of feel like Westerns have more like, you have your regular citizens who are like pretty much, I don't want to say God-fearing, but like they're law-abiding regular people. The most part, your regular citizens are law-abiding regular people. And then you have your fringe personalities, which is your outlaws, your gunslingers, and more than likely your protagonist. But this does not have your regular law-abiding citizens. Everyone's fringe characters in here. Everyone's on the outskirts. Everyone's nuts.
Yes, seriously.
So I put in man of principle. So you see it in 3:10 to Yuma with Christian Bale's character. You know, that guy that he's going to die on this hill. Like, I'm going to do what's right.
Yeah, he's got some strong values and pretty much a principles that you can get behind.
And I guess Virgil's character in Tombstone also is kind of like that. They're breaking the law.
Well, like, I agree. But, like, I feel like all of them had their line of which was too far to cross. I felt like they were all on principles, but there I have to get back into this. There wasn't just a lower level for them. Like, okay, we need to do something. And then it was Bill Paxton. Okay, I agree. We do have to do something. And then Kurt Russell's like, oh, I'm way over here. I really don't want to do anything. But I guess now I'm at the point where I have to do something. But they all were on principles, just where it was involving them was different levels.
So men of principle.
Men of principle. But I agree. But there wasn't. I mean, the one guy that you could back in this movie went right off the bat.
Yeah. I put theme of revenge. I got man versus man conflict and man versus nature conflict.
Okay.
And I have shots fired in the finale. So does that mean these are some of the core tropes of the Western then?
These ones?
The ones that we just listed. Because they're the
few ones that overlap.
Were able to pull from Hateful Eight to keep it solidified as a Western movie.
I don't know, Vaz. What do you think? Do you feel that it's a Western at this so little amount of overlap in theme and not necessarily theme, but an overlap in tropes?
I mean, I think I kind of covered it when I spoke earlier about how Tarantino put his own spin on the Western. But in terms of tropes, I think it introduced enough of them, kind of almost an allusion to the tropes in the audience's head that you're like, oh yeah, this is Western.
Okay.
And it's enough to keep you there.
Yeah, I never once felt like it wasn't a Western at any time. I felt Western from the word go. Again, I'm easily manipulated in film, and that makes me a very
take me on your journey.
Yeah, let's go. I'm in, and it's like, and even just seeing like the jacket, you know, with the little well, there's a couple different. I think there's a couple different like film covers I saw of it. One was that I remember is one with Sam Jackson with the the Dirty Harry poncho. He's got the Navajo poncho blanket around him, and he's standing, with his arms out, kind of with the kind of cowboy hat on him, like oh yeah, it's a Western. And usually that's all it takes for me to just be locked in. But then also like, Stagecoach, and then I'm bringing her in. She's going to get hung here. And even when they get into the place, even though it did become Clue and start unraveling as a Western and becoming more of a whodunit murder mystery type thing, almost like like I said, almost like a dinner theater type thing.
Yeah.
It still felt classic Western enough for me.
I like that he took it in such a weird direction. Like, I'm like, okay, this is going to be the setting, and we're going to make it, I don't know, I'll like almost all around the dialogue, and because the characters only reveal so much of themselves, and only as the story goes on, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little more. Oh, that was a lie. Oh, that was a trick. That was a ploy. Like, these are all chess moves the whole time.
I thought it was interesting how characters I thought that were just vehicles to tell you more about these main characters become the focus of the story.
Right.
Because I just thought like the hangman was just, all he is just something to let you know a little bit more about Kurt Russell's character, and a little bit more to let you know about is it Mannix's character. His job is just to kind of finesse a little bit more about this cowpoke.
When you say hangman, you mean Oswaldo.
Yep. I thought that's what but then they become more. And then there's like a little foreshadowing. It's not little, it's not subtle, but to me it was, because I don't catch things that great. But when Kurt Russell's character becomes very paranoid at the idea that when they're on the stage, when he sees the person and the thing, and he points the gun at Sam Jackson, says, "You're putting the cuffs on." You know what I mean? Like this is it. And then he gets a little bit further going when he decides to put the cuffs on. When he decides to disarm people in the haberdashery, he's kind of thinking. When he looks at the lady that he's bringing in, and he's like, "All right, who are you working with?" Like getting paranoid there, like. Pretty much what's really happening. He pretty much calls it out, and she's like, "Yep, who am I working with in here?" When she says right out to him to play into the crazy. I don't know if I'm making this up. I think this is what happens. She does say, "Yeah, I am working with it, but who am I working with?" Type of a thing.
Yeah,
it felt very Clue like right there, and I was like, I was more engaged in the movie. I was like, "Oh, cool! This is They're blatantly changing paths here a little bit from your classic Western, and. In a typical Tarantino, I hate even laughing at some of the stuff, because it's like people listening can say, "Well, I watched that and he laughed at a man hitting a woman." I'm like, I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's funny. It's like, it's all context. It's like Inglourious Bastards. Am I for people scalping people? But in context, it's so hard to even like have a reaction to some of the Tarantino's movies. For me, it is, because people are like, well, the scene I talked about earlier when he's like, we have a code system. For instance, when I elbow you in the face, that means to shut up. I thought the writing is hilarious. And then when he does that with, in that moment, when she's, what does he throw, the soup? He throws the stew in her face.
Oh, yeah.
When he's like...
She's laughing about the Lincoln letter.
Yeah, that's right. That it wasn't real, and that he actually believed it. And he was like... You're mocking me, huh? Well, here's some hot stew in the face. Yeah.
We're going to see how we do with this one.
Oh, boy.
Theme and why.
No idea. Hateful Eight.
K-Max.
Okay. There's some that I felt were... I have one that I wrote down, but I have one that I thought was... at play throughout, like revenge and retribution, right? And the effects of lingering racial hatred. I think that's like a Civil War thing. And Sam Jackson's character obviously drives that. And it goes into his big story of you're starting to see pictures type thing. It's like, I want to give you a little taste of how it feels to be.
You couldn't time those words.
On purpose, mind you. Listen a little more, because you will find out why. It's like, Tarantino's saying, I'm going to give you a taste of how gross, disgusting, and helpless it is to be black at this time. And Tarantino was masterful of that. He did it in Inglourious Bastards. He did it in other films where here's what it feels like to be blatantly victimized with having no recourse. and being promised there's maybe a better day or something on the horizon. It was never coming. You were always going to be in your lane, and I'm always going to hold power over you. He told the story that it was just so outlandish that as I was listening to it, I was like, oh my gosh. But like, you think about the elements of that story. From you came crawling, it made you walk until you were exhausted, until you fell over in the cold. You were so cold, all you wanted was to be warm. And I promised you a blanket. But to get that blanket, you had to do this thing. Mm-hmm. And you did it. And I grabbed hold of that head, and and as I laughed with my arms out, he was, those aren't throwaway just pictures to make you laugh and say, this is hilarious. Right. Tarantino's trying to get you to say, this is the black experience. This is the slave experience. This is post-Civil War. This is how helpless and how powerless you feel. And you're just clinging to survival and the things you would do to survive. Meanwhile, I'm just laughing and throwing my arms out at you. And I'm taking advantage of this power, knowing that you're never going to get what it is you desperately need or want. You're never going to really be free. I have the whip hand, And that's him telling that story. When I saw that story, I was like, oh, man, here we go. But I'm like, this is classic Tarantino, drawing a clear picture of what maybe that feels like. Just like in the horror movies, those masters of storytelling got us to a dark place in Skinamarink. How did they do it? They did it by making us pay attention. They did it by Tarantino did it by telling you this outlandishly gross pornographic story. And how else could you feel like being more or less orally raped like that? Like Alien did that and put us in a spot that way. Tarantino did it in a little bit different way. But the message was still felt and heard strongly. I mean, I don't even think it was supposed to be that deep, but it was super deep by him saying his jokes, by him being so graphic about it. Like saying, as graphic as slavery is and oppression for these people for a century and perhaps centuries after, this is my snapshot of what it feels like to be powerless and to be absolutely controlled and to be absolutely let down. There's no hope for you. And I'm going to make you like it, and you're going to laugh the whole way through it. You could see even the camera shots of Sam Jack saying things, enhancing his story and looking at the general to make sure he got him to the place where he needed to pull that gun. Yeah. I mean, it was all happening on purpose. I don't know how much of it really happened. Maybe some of it did, but he was using it as a tool to get the old white Southern man to react. Yeah. I need to get you to this precipice. Nothing's going to get you there. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe I got to get a little more graphic. Yeah. And so I just thought that was like master.
Well, almost all of his stories were twists of what was true and what wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
so
like
you
a
don't know. It
master
was
class.
like, well, I need to play this lie to get you to this point. I need to do this lie to get me into the stagecoach. I need to do this lie to get me here. So it's like almost like play. So you don't know if it's true or not, but it still is a well played hand.
Well, that's why I think that's why like my thing that I wrote down. It's just hilarious. Is the constantly questioning each other's motives and intentions, which led to like increased paranoia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, and it's almost like The Thing. I'm glad you guys brought that up because like I started feeling Clue and The Thing as the movie started unfolding.
That's cool.
Which is weird. Those two movies.
Yeah, because they're very different than.
Well, I lived
classic Western.
Yeah, classic Western movies. Right.
I lived more in the feel of but again, there's Western versatility there, right there. You know what I mean? This is almost like the exception that proves the rule that this movie is. It's like, yeah, it's still a Western. Even though it veers off the beaten path, it's got what it took.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's much of a theme, but it's like there's one obvious and I think one less. Like the truth and lies, how they're bent in desperation. Desperation bends. Then it goes back to moral issues like we talked about a couple episodes ago.
Tin Man, what's your reaction to those themes that K-Max brought up?
I like them, but I think there's something else to it. Why every character was involved in a certain way, and there was like negative based. Like a lot of your characters are all very villainous, nefarious characters that are all in one place. It's almost like I don't know, like early hell for everyone, and they got to fight it out for whatever reason. And I I don't know. I don't know if I don't have all the story in front of me to try to piece together a theme. I'm like, I got snapshots of the story from when I watched it initially, but
right. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer here, because the theme is going to be the message that you take away from your viewing. And so we just kind of offer a couple different lenses for
or even if the game that they're playing is like, I know how to survive using deceit or using lies or finding things in the past, and it doesn't, like, we're in a place now where it's only going to get you so far, but it's almost inevitable what's going to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's almost inevitable what's going to happen.
Right.
I like that.
So I'm going to go through my theme, but it's going to be a little long-winded here, because I'm going to explain everything first and then end with what
Sounds good.
I think my theme is. So I'm going to go with a little bit of symbolism to start with the snow. So to me, the snow was a symbol for growing conflict. You know, the storm is brewing, and the only time it's calm is in the flashback chapter when the Domergue gang is taking over the haberdashery. That's the only time that it's calm there. So chronologically, that takes place before the meat of our story, right? So as Ruth and Warren come in, the stores are brewing, the storm's chasing them to this spot right here, this big conflict, right? And in the very beginning, before even the first chapter, you see, during the opening credits, you see the statue, the crucifix, right? And so if snow represents the conflict, then you have this idea of turmoil overtaking any principle of righteousness. And not just in a biblical sense, but in a moral sense, I should say. And then throughout the movie, again, if snow represents that turmoil, you can see it seeping into the haberdashery. You see it seeping into the barn. You see it busting through the door at times, right? In the background, you can see it gently falling inside the haberdashery. So it's making its way into this space. Now I'm going to move into the haberdashery itself. So the setting is verbally split into different sections to symbolize the United States. So if that's not a symbol, I don't know what is.
Right.
You have a character literally saying, this represents Georgia, and this over here is Philadelphia, and this dining table is neutral. And so you kind of, this helps shape my theme right here, right? So also, though, the haberdashery itself existed for everyone to use by the original owners before the Domergue gang killed its occupants and abused it for their own agenda. Sound a little familiar? Natural resources and diverse cultural aspects inhabit the space, but are all destroyed by the conflict that takes place there. So you have things like the arts with the guitar and the piano. You have the coffee. There's a little chest thing, furniture. They're all either obliterated or covered in bloodshed. And the presence of gunfire and violence overtakes this once peaceful setting. I got a couple characters next. So John Ruth, kind of hinted at before, but to me he's kind of the symbol of principle, proper justice, dispassion, right? Mowbray
Justice
talks
is blind.
So note, and in my notes here I have note the Mowbray monologue about justice, when he says that's what civilized society calls justice, right? And he says frontier justice, which is pretty much what all these people have been doing, this is their whole history, is apt to be wrong as right. And dispassion is the very essence of justice, right? And I think you quoted that earlier. But what does that mean? It means you're not acting out of emotion to exact justice. You're you're not letting your own feelings about something cloud.
Well, quote
this
Sherlock
justice.
Holmes, this mustn't register on an emotional level.
You're right. It's really good.
It sounds like your own personal motto for life.
It's carved on his chest of the Tin Man. Lasered in
Tuscarora.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then I move into... Oh, and when Mowbray finishes his little monologue there, the hangman says, "Amen."
Mm-hmm.
You know, he agrees with every single word that he just said. So I move into two characters, Major Marquez Warren and
Chris Mannix.
Chris Mannix. I knew it was a CH. So they are two sides of the same hate-filled racist coin. We have more M alliteration here, right? Marquez and Mannix.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe meant to make us mesh the men together. So each man shows evidence of being conditioned to be the way they are. So Mannix being brought up the way he is through generational hate, and he's able to recite racist acts of violence against Southern soldiers. And then on the other hand, you have Marquez, who admits to killing white men any way he can. It's like shoot them, drown them, burn them, you know. And but he also recites racial-based violence during the Civil War. So they each have these memories of the other side doing major acts of racial violence to their own race. So this conditioning for Marquez led to him creating the Lincoln Letter for almost survival, right? Mm-hmm. Just to be able to traverse through areas and say, you know, this is right from Lincoln. You know, and then he's able to make friends with the people along the way. But both of them, you know, they're at the dinner table, and Mannix hears of the Lincoln Letter and starts ridiculing him and calls it out for what it is. He's like, you don't have a letter. And Ruth asks, was it all BS? Of course it was. So both men can see right through that letter. So they, like I said, they are two sides of the same hate-filled plane here. Mm. And it kind of deals with the end here, but yeah, this will lead into it. This will lead into the ending as well. But so Mannix, who's the aspiring sheriff of Red Rock, learns to be more of a man of principle. And you see this at the end when Domergue's trying to make a deal with him. And she's saying, well, you know, whoever the Mowbray's real name is, she asks him, like, what can we give him? Like, okay, well, this guy's worth 10. This guy's worth this much. You can have me when I'm dead. You know, he's counting up the money. But this is all politics. And they're pretty much selling off people, right, to make their deals here. So he ends up refusing that bounty money and doesn't deal people as money. So it's more of a principle over politics. And then Marquez learns this as well when he convinces Mannix to follow through with what John Ruth started with Domergue. Right, is you got to hang. Remember, he saved your life, so we're gonna honor him by following through with that justice, that type of principle right there. So both men start to respect the principle of law and uphold it. So with the ending, though extreme, ultra-violent, I remember the first time I watched the ending where, you know, when they're hanging Domergue, my thought was, is this really how it's going to end? Like this slow hanging where it's just two of them, like that seems so odd. But the more I thought about it and related everything together, all of it was necessary to conclude at least the theme that I got from it. So you had two racist men on opposite sides of the spectrum, working together to practice the principle of justice. Mannix ends up appreciating the Lincoln letter rather than ridiculing it. You remember he's kind of laying down next to the bed and he starts reading it, but he's not just skimming it through. He's reading it meaningfully, right? And you might have also noticed that after the little shootout there, they're stripped down to their bases. Marquez is laying on the bed, and Mannix pulls up a chair next to him, right? But stripped down to their bases, both men are dressed the same, right? They got the black and white outfits on, and they're both bloodstained. And they both have battle wounds. So working together, these men were able to exact justice, hold up the law, and learn to coexist to finally be at peace with each other in a place of rest, because it was on a bed. That's kind of the symbol for rest. It's put it to bed, right?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, perfect.
And also no coincidence that combined, there's colors of red, white, and blue on the screen. As they got the white outfits, they got the blood as the red, and the blankets on the bed are blue. And I think also both of them being able to wear black is kind of an insertion there too of the black history, that bit of inclusion. And if it weren't literal enough, the thing that kept Domergue from getting free was the arm of the law, right? Right? Like she was handcuffed to him, right? Yeah. So very funny, like when you start to think of these things and put them together, you're like, funny guy, way with words here, because like I said, the alliteration, and then you got these very thinly veiled, like almost fable-esque play on words and things. Yeah. So I have that for my ending. I wanted to bring up framing throughout the movie because it is advertised quite a bit. It's shot with was it Ultra Panavision 70, right?
Yep.
And so that allows for a wider aspect ratio, and so you're able to. Typically, you see it, shooting something outdoors to get a nice epic shot, and you see some of that here, but a lot of it is used to be able to include as much of that haberdashery as you can and see different characters in different spaces in the shot. The use of the split diopter. So you'll notice this in movies once you see it once, you'll be able to see it in movies. But you got one character in the foreground. Mm-hmm. You usually see kind of like a blurred middle ground, and then another character in the background who's also in focus.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that towards the end is used quite a bit to put both Mannix and Marquez in the same importance.
In focus.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I didn't know what was happening. I knew what was happening. I know when you said it, I'm like, oh. Because it feels like when you use portrait mode on your iPhone.
Yep, it blurs.
And it blurs, but it was blurring, but then you could still isolate that one thing in the distance, too. Yeah. I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, so I had to look up the technical name of that, but
that's pretty cool.
It's two cameras, right? I think they have two cameras.
It's a lens.
It's a lens for it?
Okay. Yeah.
That's cool.
As far as I can tell. I might be wrong. So each man is equally focused in on, no matter where they are, during this ending scene. And you probably picked up on this quite a bit, but the framing that confines characters throughout the movie. So right in the beginning, you get the view from inside the stagecoach. Mm-hmm. So the door frames Marquez, right?
Yeah.
You have inside the haberdashery the different support beams. Then you have the chains hanging from the wall. You have the windows with the bars on them. You have the logs themselves that make up the walls of the haberdashery. And then there's the barn that they're in, the same thing, the door there, you have support beams, you have the animals that help to shrink, to confine all these characters. And you also had I think I mentioned it. Oh, before I move to that, the bed rails at the end, right? But I think I mentioned it in the first season, the idea of the 180-degree angle. Mm-hmm. So if you're facing a certain way, it's a little bit jarring to the audience to come from the exact opposite angle, showing the scene. Mm-hmm. So I feel like for this one, though, it was used to kind of almost jumpstart the audience a little bit to, so you're able to take it in from different points of view, right? And to me, the confinements, yes, they help to make you feel a little bit claustrophobic, but to me, they were the confinements of morality, providing structure to an amoral world.
Oh, wow.
So they weren't necessarily bad. It's just you're kind of reining in these characters now. You're boxing them in a little bit.
I was going to say the circle's closing, the war zone. You're forcing the conflict.
So all of that to give you my theme of learning to coexist in a country built on hate and amorality. Wow. So there it is. That's my theme.
Gee whiz, that might be our heaviest theme of the entire show. Learning to cope. Is that what it was?
Coexist.
Coexist in a country built on hate and immorality. Good gravy.
A lot of blood to get to that point. It is cool though. I'm going to watch it again, just so I can see how the ending ties it all together.
It's funny because whenever Vaz puts out there to watch it together, I always think, yeah, that'd be awesome, and it would be the best case scenario. But it's
I think we've only watched like one movie together.
There's never.
It hasn't been this season. I don't think. It just
seems like there's never time for it, and it's so essential. I miss it. Mm-hmm. It's the best way to do it because then we have like so much pre-production. Just
I just want to stop like the movie and be like, hold on. What did you see here? Because I'm seeing this, like that, and
Well, I almost want to, when I'm watching these movies, I almost want to text you guys in the middle of it, and I'm like, no, I'm going to save that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tin Man, what's your reaction to what I laid out there?
I like it. It definitely ties everything together well, and it definitely seems like it's on par for a Quentin Tarantino movie. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm wrapped up in because I'm not. I've been watching movies forever, but I never really get to the deeper themes of it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's close enough to the surface where I'm like, oh, I wonder if this means this, and that, and try to make the connections. But if it's like this movie where I'm like, wait, who's the bad guy? Who's this and that? I'm kind of tied up in I'm still on the surface level enjoying this movie. Mm-hmm. And that was, 10 years ago when that came out? Mm-hmm. Was it 2015? So it's like 10 years ago when the first time I saw it. And then watched it again kind of like not an active viewing, but I'm like passively watching the movie. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I remember this, and that. But that always gives it a little more oomph to the story when you have a solid theme that like ties it all together from the beginning to the end, and you're like, oh, kind of always gives it like a little notch up. If you like the movie, it almost like, okay, I really like the movie now because now I have the ideas behind it that give rise to the meanings for these characters, where the plot moves, and why it ended the way it did. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why I'm like, I'm going to watch it again.
And those are master storytellers that can do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They can write it and direct it. Those are master storytellers because when it's missing, sometimes you're not even aware of why that movie's not as good to you or why it was. The experience wasn't as rich.
Right.
Because it's like there was no thread that pulled it all together.
Right.
And
because you watch a lesser movie that like production crew was all over the place, or the director wanted to do this, but the studio was like, no, you have to do it this way. Okay, and he has enough pull where he's like, no, it's this or nothing. I'll walk. Yeah. So he's getting what he wants to make the story the way it is.
That's why his stuff is, even though it's jarring, it's refreshing too. I don't know why I fight giving him the keys to the kingdom. Anybody that's great at what they do, I'm like, I always want to resist that. I don't know why.
Well, there's a what's his name said it too about Quentin Tarantino movies, because that's like, it's kind of hard to get behind them sometimes, because I went through my list of 50 greatest movies, and a buddy of mine even was like, you don't have any Tarantino movies in there. I go, I don't know why, but they're not up here to me. And he said it too, Vaz said it too, was like, there's hard to get behind any of the characters. they're so rough, they're so edgy, they're so like non-traditional heroes that it's tough to make that a story that you feel connected with. Mm-hmm. Not to say that it's not a great story,
right?
But just personally, the connection to the characters is just a little off. But and you haven't seen what's it called yet, though? Have you?
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time, which is my favorite Tarantino movie. I might have to watch this one again now that I kind of have the understanding of the themes behind it, and see if that all ties in. Watching it the next time to see if it beats Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But that one's my favorite one for now.
Yeah. I mean, you could do a whole, you could do a whole season on probably Tarantino.
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
Right?
It would require a lot of studying, though, like a lot of preparation, because he references so much in his movies, obscure film cinema history.
Oh yeah, a Japanese version of a Western that came out in the 50s, and then this is who I based that character off of.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
Right.
okay. Oh, okay.
But yeah, so when I mentioned earlier about, I felt like he took modern conflicts and projected them into the Old West. So an aspect that I didn't mention before was that this movie was a product of the times, right? So made in 2015, much of the country's conflict at the time is projected onto the characters and the story of this movie. So we talked about Western tropes being updated to a modern setting, and here we have modern conflicts being adapted to a Western setting, like an Old West setting. And racism is a huge conflict here, probably the conflict of the movie, right? Mm-hmm. But not just one way. Tarantino is very deliberate to give us all sorts of examples of how that racism is returned back to the other side, right? And we have literal gang violence, right, in the movie and currently, and 2015. I don't think much has changed. It feels like since 2015. So there's no coincidence that the story takes place after Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation and the end of the Civil War, because 2015, and he probably wrote it leading up to 2015. Oh, he wrote it leading up to 2015, means that the president of the U.S. at the time was Barack Obama, a progressive president in his own right, and a source of contention by people with extreme opposing political views. So it seems like I said, everything that was happening in the world, or the U.S., I should say, in 2015, it's almost like he just picked it up and transported it to the Old West. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how the theme of the cyclical nature of the human experience can be, but we're there again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So not even from 15 to 25, but we're picking it up and moving it, 100 and whatever years in the past.
It's interesting.
So that's pretty cool. Pretty neat to me, though, that he's able to almost seamlessly do that.
Right.
Well, that's all I got for now for Hateful.
It was good. I gotta watch it again.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'd be definitely worth another watch. I
What
how
I need to do is I have to watch the next movie we're planning on reviewing too. I'll have to watch that one.
Let's do it. It'll be this is Depth Perception's first 7-hour episode. No breaks.
No breaks.
We're just gonna watch a movie and analyze it like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, the back of our heads. That'd be interesting one time to do.
It would be.
We find the right sponsor.
We'd have to pick a
It
weird
will
movie.
be.
It will be.
Oh man, it's gonna be that one will be on YouTube.
Yeah,
that one you're gonna have to watch.
I have to put that one up.
Be laughing in the theater like De Niro in Cape Fear. A stogie in my hands.
Oh man, it's good movie. Good movie.
So I think for right now, I've penciled in Dead Man because I'm kind of counting Hateful Eight as like our neo-Western pick, even though it was a Western. But the themes are contemporary. So for right now, I'm penciling in Dead Man. I'm pretty sure it's on Max.
I'm glad that our listeners are doing what we're doing. They're finding joy in going back to some movies that they maybe watched in the past. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that we're starting to get feedback from people who, even if they don't like Westerns, they're enjoying the conversation about Westerns, because they are a big part of pop culture. It's funny, I didn't realize how country Westerns snuck up on us in pop culture in America right now. Like, country artists sell out at a huge rate. Western New York is a hotbed for George Strait in a couple weeks, and Chris Stapleton, and
Beyonce even hopped on that train.
I mean, not Post Malone.
Post Malone,
and you got all these cross. You got these cross genre.
Oh,
cross genre. That too. Cross genre artists, like, just going across, and the collaboration with Post Malone and others on his last album. I'm like, it's kind of cool. I didn't realize it. Someone was like, well, what's the pop culture music of, like, right now? Is it hip hop? Is it this, that? If they try to, the music of the 2000s, I'm thinking, country's in the running. Country's definitely in the running. And I thought that was, I don't know how that snuck up on us. It's fine. I mean, I was talking to my buddy Jeeves, and he always goes, what is this WYRK BS? You know what I mean? That's what he describes. Because he's like a CFNY, like modern, British invasion music, and whenever he hears stuff, he's like, he doesn't mind it, but it's just like, he's like, what is this on this station? He gets so mad about it. But I'm like, it is definitely part of our vernacular. It's part of, and even though this was 2015, he said 2015.
Oh, my cousin is a guitar player for Jordan Davis.
Yeah, that's right.
Shout out to Jordan Davis.
Seriously, that's like the pop country, like the alt pop country, those are some of the biggest shows you can go to right now. The biggest tickets you can go to, big stadium tours. George Strait, for crying out loud, in 2025.
Right?
It's all good.
All right. So yeah, I've it's been a while for me since seeing Dead Man. Even then, I think it was just bits and pieces. So it'll be interesting to bring this one up. Crazy cast, though. Were you there, Tin Man, when we went over the cast?
I think Gary Farmer's in it, isn't he?
Why don't you look it up?
Yeah, well,
Aji Quadajis.
While he's looking that up, folks, don't forget to follow, if you could, Depth Perception Movie Podcast on Instagram. Now, we just put out an ad today that we are now available not only on Audible or on Spotify or on other streaming platforms, but we are now on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, thank you, K-Max.
Find us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you to Mr. Vosley for his diligence in pre-production, and getting us out there on the airwaves. So I heard from several listeners that it would be more convenient and even easier if it was just available. And now you are without excuse, my friends, because we are streaming live both seasons on Apple Podcasts. So lock it in and don't touch that dial. Right. Take a look at the Instagram page, though, because we want to expand our audience. And that's kind of the goal, is to get more people talking about movies and how they affect us. And we want to know how they affect you, and getting feedback and getting more people listening. So there'll be something coming up, a promotion. Mr. Vosley is a wonderful graphic artist, and he's come up with these season 1 posters. And there's one that's just sitting in the shop, just waiting to go to the loving arms of one of your offices or one of your places of employment or homes. And so we want to find a little promotion to run to get people to promote our page and to get people to listen. And we want you listening, and we want your feedback. So be on the lookout there. First step, though, is to follow Depth Perception Movie Podcast on Instagram. See you there.
Boom. Right. Tin Man, read us off some names there.
All right, we have Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
That is Gary Farmer.
Gary Farmer, yep.
Johnny Depp as Gary Farmer? I think if anybody can pull it off.
the drunks, the Catholics.
Yeah.
Or the drunk
Yep.
Catholics. That's what
Yep. Right.
Crispin Glover, Lance Hendrickson.
Well, so Crispin Glover, he'd be Willard, right?
Yeah, he
Or
was Willard.
the bad guy in Charlie's Angels. One of the bad guys.
Creepy thin man from
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
He's isn't he Michael J. Fox's dad from Back to the Future?
Interesting.
Right? Isn't
I don't
he?
remember.
I'm pretty sure that's him. Lance Hendrickson,
Lance Henriksen.
one of the few guys who's been killed by a Terminator, a Predator, and an alien.
That is such a Tin Man fact.
One of two men who's been killed by all three of them.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton being the other one. Michael Wincott. I don't know if anyone knows who he is.
He is Sheriff's cousin in Robin Hood, Prince of
Robin Hood,
Thieves.
Prince of Thieves. He was in the
Musketeers.
Three Musketeers. Rochefort. Isn't that a smelly kind of a cheese?
Oh.
He's got the one eye. He's got a crazy voice.
He's Elgin from Alien Resurrection.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, take that.
He was killed by an alien. Let's see who else was killed by an alien. John Hurt was killed by an alien. He was also in this movie. Killed by the original alien. The original alien. Chest burst off this guy. Robert Mitchum.
Wow.
Sing it for us.
I am not sick enough to know I can sing. What song was it? What was it? It was with this left hand. That's that guy.
Yeah,
that was
that's
him.
good enough for me.
Shout
That's
out
good.
to our Night of the Hunter episode.
Night of the
there.
Hunter.
Man.
The killing pastor. The traveling killer. Iggy Pop. That's the next
Love Iggy
character.
Pop. Lust for Life.
Gabriel Byrne.
Did you say Lustful Life?
Lustful, living a lustful life over
If
here.
done correctly. No can defense.
Gabriel Byrne.
Gabriel Byrne.
Oh, Usual Suspects.
Man in the Iron Mask.
Yeah.
Miller's Crossing.
Yep.
Wow.
That's one of my. That's in my list right there. That's in my
Never
top
seen.
50.
Never seen.
He introduced. We watched it at Aaron's house actually.
Really?
Oddly enough, yeah.
Hereditary.
Hereditary. Jared Harris. So that's going to be. He's a Sherlock Holmes villain from the.
Man, there are a lot of stars in this movie.
There are.
What's
Oh wait, there's more.
What do we got down? Billy Bob Thornton.
What?
Billy Bob Thornton's in this movie.
If you say the kitchen sink.
Alfred Molina. It's going to be Doc Ock from the Tobey Maguire
wow.
Spider-Mans.
Or Sapito from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh.
So Maverick's like big. I don't know what you call his counterpart. His opponent. His other half, I guess.
His rival.
His rival. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
He's his rival. Alfred Molina from Maverick. I think that's. And Steve Buscemi.
There you go.
There's a bartender in there
Gee,
too.
whiz.
A crazy cast. So that's going to be our next one.
What's that called again?
Dead Man.
Dead Man.
I'm pretty sure it's on Max.
Deadpan.
I've got it on Criterion Collection, of course. So join us next episode.
I can do your going out with music.
Okay, let me hear it. Do it faster.
I can do it faster.
Do it harder.
There we go. Huh?
There you go. Here, where's my other drummer at?
Let me put my microphone between your legs.
Snow.
We should do a mashup song.
We're even doing obscure references from our own episodes.
Think about a yummy
Oh my
payoff.
gosh, it's technically tomorrow already.
Oh, good night.